So I just thought I'd take a moment and talk about something that I've always been kind of on my mind, and that is fan fiction. Now, for those of you who don't know, I love to write fan fiction. I have both a fanfiction.net account, a fanfiction account, and DeviantArt page where I write stuff. Um, and the thing that's always kind of interested me about fan fiction is that, apart from the fact it's very therapeutic, um, I don't consider fan fiction prose or scripts or honestly official form. Like, there is no structure to writing fan fiction. And to be fair, anybody who actually studied, like, literature theory or writing theory or whatever the professional is, you can call me out on all the stuff I'm about to say, because I don't know any of this, of any of the technical terms, so sue me. Don't sue me, please. Um, but it, someone who goes around and looks at all sorts of fan fiction, good, bad, and the in between, there isn't this. You can tell when somebody wants to write a screenplay and when someone's going out for a full on novel. I at least I feel that way because they're very the ones who love to write prose write their fan fiction more like a novel in prose, and the people who love writing clearly want to write for television or movies or just something more visual is that they're very dialogue heavy. Like they don't really go into the deep description and all that. They just really just sort of like write just the dialogue and maybe in terms of like the action, like they fought or they said or etc. etc. Um, the better ones, and the people are really good at it. The better writers I feel are a little better at hiding some of that, or at least writing full on prose. Um, and to be fair, a screenplay can technically count as fan fiction too, an official screenplay when screenplay format. I think because fan fiction is it's a very loose term. I think if you're a fan who's writing fiction of the thing you're a fan of, that is fan fiction. Um, it doesn't have to be officially published. It can't be, and I think you can still call it fan fiction, and that's a good thing. Um, the actual term fan fiction, I feel, is something that is very loosely defined. In my opinion, like I don't know what a good. I mean, okay, there are certain tropes in fan fictions that in an official public if you're an official publisher, then maybe you should avoid these tropes, especially like the OC character who tends to always find its way into the main event of the main characters. um Kingdom Hearts, I feel, though, is an example of that because I mean Kingdom Hearts is fan fiction brought to life in many ways. I mean, Sora is the OC character who's taking part in these Disney worlds and living out their adventures with the characters. Um, I think though it works more in practice than it does on paper, in terms of just the charm. Once Upon a Time is another great example of fan fiction brought to life because just the fairy tale characters and what happens after their stories in a lot of ways. So once I felt did a good job, at least in season one, of avoiding some of the pitfalls and making it feel like too much fan fiction, and also the acting and the story helped kind of flesh out the characters a lot and make them their own versions. It wasn't until we got to the Frozen season I felt that the fan fiction part of it really just got bad because they didn't even try. It's like these are the Frozen characters from the movie. It's just after their story, and then the Once Upon a Time characters seem to pop in every now and then, and it involved their story. That Frozen season was so odd because it was like it focused just on the Frozen characters and not even the once characters were kind of like the backstory, the background characters in that half. But I digress. And I guess there are certain other fanficky tropes which I can't think of on the top of my head necessarily. Because fan fiction, it's an art form, I suppose. it definitely is a certain type of art form. I don't know if it's a genre. I'm probably not even using these words correctly. Um, but it's definitely something that I feel has its own tropes and kind of pitfalls and hurdles, and you notice certain things. I notice certain things a lot. Especially when they love making like the more innocent cartoon shows and making like dark and grim. That's definitely fanficky. And then you can get a good story out of it, I suppose. Um, I think a lot, but I don't think there's necessarily concrete way of writing fan fiction. Is what I'm trying to say. In terms of like rating very vague and just having dialogue driven stuff, and or just writing it more like a novel. Because I don't think if you're gonna be a professional novelist, then you write like a novel. If you're gonna write a professional screenplay, then you write a screenplay. But since fan fiction is so ill-defined and so creatively free, where you can really do whatever you want, I mean that's the glory of fan fiction. It has no rules. You can do whatever you want. You can make the characters as out of character as possible. I guess that definitely degrades your story to some people, but it's fan fiction, so do whatever you want. You're not making money off of it. Um, I mean, hopefully you're not. If you are, that's illegal. But you can really do whatever you like. It's your interpretation, I suppose. In that regard, if you're going to be professional about it, though, then I would suggest you don't follow that advice at all and stick to certain rules and procedures and just customs that that goes in with being professional. Um, but yeah, that's really all I got to say on fan fiction for now. I wish I had someone to talk to because I feel like I could go on and on just in terms of different pitfalls and tropes, and I can understand why people aren't into fan fiction. There's a lot of weird stuff out there. I mean, I guess it's like anything really. You just have to look for the good stuff. The reason there's probably more bad stuff is because anybody can do it. I mean, I could do. I mean, I'm doing it right now. I like to think I put a little effort into my stories, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I suck. But if it's for you, if you're interested, look some stuff up, do some research. Find the good stuff and separate from the bad. And if you're interested in reading the bad too, that's great. 'Cause, it's fan fiction. Um, there's a lot of stuff about that, and I don't think there's necessarily a structure to writing fan fiction. I mean, obviously, you can judge it based off just what makes good storytelling, obviously. But I always felt fan fiction sort of, in a weird way, I don't want to say it's immune from the rules of good storytelling, but it's so its own thing. And it's just so, it's like, it is truly the internet. It's the Wild West of storytelling, I suppose, in where anything can happen and you can do anything. Whether that's a good thing or a bad thing is probably up to determination. But again, there's the good bad fan fictions, there's the bad fan fictions, just like there's good and bad in everything. And that's all I got to say about that. So, till next time, everybody, subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you later.